So like the hike we did with the chains, there's no chains, and it would be not quite as difficult as that would be without the chains, but still the nice challenge. So you never feel like you're gonna fall off the mountain, but it's a fun challenge. And this was my last campground night, and these were some of my porters that I had with me, and they're awesome. So like as you're going up, chat with the porters, you can get to know them. I was teaching them how to play Sudoku here, and they're great. Most of them are using this as their job to put themselves through school, support their families, everything. So, and they're all usually pretty young and just the sweetest people ever. Some will speak great English, others will speak next to nothing, so it makes for fun times. And they're all usually really willing to chat with you if you show that you're willing to chat with them. So this is the last campground here. So this was taken from about where my tent was, and that's the bathroom. So just to kind of give you an idea of what it feels like in altitude, during the night, because I was drinking a lot of water, I woke up and I had to pee. And you're cozy in your tent because you're in your sleeping bag and it's warm and you know it's freezing cold outside. So the last thing you want to do is get up and leave your tent. But you have to go pee. So, and even at this altitude, like you roll over and you can feel out of breath in bed. So I'm like, oh my God, this is gonna suck. So I like gear up, I get myself out of the tent, I'm close to the bathroom, I'm like, okay, I can do this. And it seriously took me like 10, 15 minutes to get there. Because you're like, all right, I'm ready. And you're like, to the bathroom. Okay, I need a break. Like, whoo, let me catch my breath. That's right. Okay, 1 more step. 2 more steps. Like 5 steps, you're like, okay, break time. Like, oh, I can do this, I can do so. At altitude, it's amazing no matter how good a shape you're in, you just feel like you're in the worst shape of your life because you just get out of breath so easily because of the lack of oxygen. So be prepared for that, and it's all the mental state to just keep.
But once you go through that, right? Like if you do high altitude for a long time, and you're used to that extra, your body's extra the extra work, right?
Yeah.
Don't you feel great when you're down?
Yeah, completely. You get down, you're like, oh my God, so much oxygen. It's great. And it will even, like, the longer you're up there, your body will adjust to the altitude.
Right.
Which is why the acclimatization day makes such a huge difference, just even having that extra day and going slowly to give yourself time to adjust.
Kili is probably the one that, and I've never done it, but just from reading about it and having done base camp and talked to people, it's the one where you have the least amount of time to acclimatize. And you're starting so close to sea level compared to like the lowest place I slept on my 2-week trek to base camp was higher than anywhere I've slept in the Rockies.
Wow.
So you're like spending the whole time there at altitude. Whereas here, you're just going up the side of the mountain. So every day it's just like up more and more and more. So you're just consistently gaining. So the extra day is like, I don't understand how people do it without it. So when you're ready, like so on your summit night, you'll get into camp probably about 3, 4 in the afternoon. They'll give you a quick snack for you to eat, and then you go to bed. And you try and sleep as much as you can. Then they'll wake you up about 11 p.m. They'll feed you supper, and then you're getting ready to start the summit. So you start summiting about midnight, and you summit overnight. And that's because the whole way up is all shale. So, like as you can see here, you're going over either shale or across the snow cap. So overnight it all freezes. So climbing that way, it makes it a hell of a lot easier than if you're climbing in the day, because then it loosens up and you're just sliding everywhere like when you come down. But so this was on the way down because it's dark on the way up, but that's the route that you're taking. So you've got.
But don't you also get sunrise there?
You do, which is the other best bet. So this slide, so you get sunrise over Kilimanjaro, and it's supposed to be one of the most beautiful sunrises in the world because of all the dust in the atmosphere from the plains around it. And it's plus you just like put yourself through hell the last few days to get there. It's amazing, like the most amazing moment ever to just sit and watch the sunrise. Most people, you generally try and aim to be at the second highest peak for sunrise, which is where this is taken. So you watch sunrise from here, it's absolutely gorgeous. And then from that, it's about another hour or so hike, if that, to the highest part on the mountain. And you only gain, I think it's like 200 meters on that. So you're walking mostly just around the ridge to it, slowly gaining altitude. So it's one of the easiest parts of the whole trek, other than the fact that you're at like almost 6,000 meters. So it's still really challenging for that aspect. And then when you get to the highest part, you get to the sign. So this sign marks the summit. It's officially the highest part of all of Africa. I ended up summiting. I was the first one to summit when I did it, off of all of the 7 routes that lead up to the summit. So we got there and it's still dark, sunrise hasn't happened, and we're like, hey, we need a picture with the sign, like with me and my guide, and there was no one else there. And you're only supposed to spend about 15 minutes on the summit of Kili because of the altitude until you start going down. We had to wait about 45 minutes before anybody else got there, and it's freezing cold. So when you're not moving, we were just like huddling together, trying to move and stay warm, but you can't move too much because you can't breathe properly. Yeah, so that's why it's nice to get sunrise on the second peak, so you can come here, get beautiful, fresh morning photos of the sign, and then head on down right away. And it's amazing, like it's unlike anything else I've ever done. To make it up to that, the sense of accomplishment is unbelievable. And then from there, you head down to the camp where you started the summit trip. So you'll get down early morning or late morning, and then they'll have a quick snack ready for you, and then you have another couple hours to take a nap. They'll wake you up, you'll eat another quick little snack.
Hello.
And continue down the mountain.
I'll let you in, then call up the elevator.
Down, where you'll camp again, and then the day after that you finish the trek down the bottom. So down is a lot faster than going up. But yeah, and it's exhausting. Like that's the
I'm just gonna leave this here. Keep talking.
Okay. Is it Joe?
Yeah, it's Joe.
Joseph. Yeah, so it's awesome. And you get down, you're like, oh my god, I get to shower.
How long was the whole thing?
It's 7 days.
Up and down, or up?
Yeah,
That
up
is a
and
week.
down.
Then how come he said it wasn't a week? I said all you need to do is take a week off.
Oh, the trip is 2 weeks because then there's a safari after.
Oh, gotcha.
You could potentially do just the Kili portion, but flights and time getting there, it makes no sense to go for just a
I
week.
agree with you.
Because it's like, why go all the way there and not see any wild animals in Africa? Like, you have to see the safari. So yeah. Last thing on Kili to build into your budget and to think about is tipping for the guides. You're probably going to spend about $200 roughly, depending on the size of your group, for their tips, because you're going to want to tip your guide, your porters, your cook, and especially if they did an amazing job, like so much of their income depends on tipping.
So why were you giving the guide more than the porter?
Just because. Hi, Joseph!
How you doing?
Hey.
Welcome home.
Thank
Ready
you.
to fly again? We're being videoed by Boun. Boun's gonna come on the trip with us.
You serious?
Well, no, he hasn't agreed to it yet, but I've decided.
Oh, you just like.
Yeah, they're gonna come too.
Island.
Hi, Joseph.
Joseph, I'm Alex.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Joseph's coming on the trip. Joseph's coming on the trip.
Jim there too.
I know, but I can't go, and I really want to.
You just missed the Kili stuff.
You missed everything?
No, just
Wheelchair
Kili. We're going to wild animals. The rest are really just fun photos of animals. By fun photos, I'm not a photographer. So just being like, look at the animals. So
yeah, I was
no,
asking
tipping?
because we're actually the porter does more work, don't they?
well,
Can I
yes
serve
and
you
no, because the
something?
guide has the most responsibility because they're responsible for your
Your
physical
wine.
safety.
Oh,
And they're
I
also the
see.
ones that summit with you for that last night. And they're essentially in charge of the whole team as well. They're like the manager of everything, so they make everything work and all that stuff.
right.
So that's why they get tipped the most. And yeah, if there's an assistant guide, you generally only get an assistant guide on 10 people or more. Ours is going to be a nice small intimate group, so we'll probably have one guide, which I love because you can go out, like if you only have 2 or 3 people that are hiking.
Yeah, there's more interaction.
Exactly, and you'll get to go at whatever pace you need to, whereas when you're in a larger group, you have to go at a pace that everybody can do. So it works a little bit better that way.
Right. You should be wanting me on this. I'm feeling I'd be slowing you down.
No. The slower the better. That's the whole point. And that's actually the reason I ended up doing so well, because the first bit of it, I was one of the slowest people on the entire mountain. Like, we were way back there. And then by the end, like, because I had been able to adjust better because of that.
Right.
I was really slow. Like everybody was hiking faster than I was, but didn't really need to take any breaks along the way.
Right.
So people would stop for ages, and I'd like hike past them. And they'd start hiking and hike past me, and I'd just keep going at my pace. And then they'd stop. I'm like, hi, walk past them, and then next thing you know, my guide was like, I think you're going to be the first at the summit. I said, you're crazy. He's like, you're a strong woman. You will do it. I was like, okay. And he was right. So that was random. But yeah, they're amazing. Like, absolutely amazing. I loved my guide to pieces. Yeah, so that's Kili. And then, so Arusha is your main jump-off point for the beginning of Kili, and for all the safaris are right around there. So it's a fun little city. It's a good place, like if you just want to go to some markets, go grab a beer at a bar, or go to a nightclub. It's a city, like it's a large city in Africa, so you can get pretty much everything you want to do. If you want to hike more, there is Mount Meru right there, which is about a 2-day hike, and it's Africa's 5th largest mountain, if Kili hasn't kicked your butt enough yet.
Right. Well, we're going to climb another mountain?
Yeah, well, not really. But we're going to Mount Meru if you wanted to. If you wanted to climb another mountain after the tour ended, you very well could. But I think you should go to Zanzibar instead. So this
Zanzibar.
Zanzibar!
Nice.
Oh, I'm so jealous. I wish I could come
Really?
so bad to Zanzibar. Like, I loved it. It's so amazing. You're gonna love it. And I didn't really dive the last time I was there, so I didn't get to do diving.
You're certified now, right?
Yeah. I was certified then, but we had really crappy weather when we were there, and nobody else dove. And I had just been certified, so I hadn't done any diving yet, so I was pretty nervous. But we went snorkeling. I know, I'm like, oh.
You guys are scuba diving certified?
Are you?
I got mine in February. I can't remember if it was last year or the year before.
That's also on my bucket list. So can I make you that drink?
I'll have just champagne.
Okay.
Please.
You don't want hibiscus flower.
No thanks. No.
Put it in, put it in!
So
No,
I
after
think
after being in France,
it
just
that's
seems
what you
really
Yeah,
normal to
I haven't
have
done anything
champagne
past that.
all the time.
So you
By the
need to
way,
go to
I was at
Zanzibar
the
so you can
opening
dive.
gala last night
It's supposed to
for
be
the Gold
amazing.
Festival.
It's
Is that
so
gonna
sad.
Yes,
trip
who's
too, or-
sponsored
And it's
the
not
opening
included in the
gala
trip, you can
party?
just add it on after.
Who?
Moet Alessandro.
Just saying, Joe's
No
going.
way.
I had 3
I want to
glasses
go,
of
but I
champagne.
don't
Oh fuck! What was I doing last night?
know.
Jet lag.
I went for a Kentucky training at work and somehow ended up schmammered at 2 a.m. at the West.
So shall I put his flower in yours?
Okay. Thanks, Jim.
And I'm putting the other stuff in too.
At Club West?
Yeah.
Oh, you went to Club West?
Yeah. It was a good night.
Was it full?
Boun's watching us too. Or he will when he watches this later.
Oh, okay, so
excuse
the
my
sun-
swearing. How you doing?
He's gonna hear all this and be like, oh my god, just get on with it. So,
Hold on,
anyways.
your head's cut off out of the shot. Who the hell?
Yeah, I know, that's because I'm not there using the camera.
Probably doesn't want to see it anyway. It's better
Well,
not.
he saw that.
And that's forever on video. Yeah.
So how long
Soon
is
to
the
be on
climb?
Facebook.
How many
7
days?
days.
7 days. And you think that's enough?
Yeah. Well, actually, no. We have the acclimatization day, so it's 8 days. So you know what? I've got the itinerary right here.
Oh, cool.
Before I make day 1 arrive. So 2, 7, descend. 2 to 8 you're climbing. So you've got 7 full days of climbing
Okay.
and descending. So you descend fairly quickly because it's like the first 5.5 days are the climbing, and then the last day and a half is down. It's pretty sweet. I'll show you the pictures after. if you
So
haven't
now
seen
you got 2 flowers in there.
Thanks, man. So, but after we finish Kili,
Here,
we get to go on
cameraman.
safari, which is like amazing.